Welcome back to another high-level match of StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is the finals of the ESL Open Cup number 203. This is a best of 5 series between two absolute channel favorites, where apparently our Terran player, he starts off this game by sending multiple SCVs out onto the map. Okay, spotting right here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the red Terran SCVs, we have none other than GuMiho. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Zerg drones, he goes by the name of Dark. Alrighty, GuMiho, ready to start this particular best of 5 series off with a bang. Looks like he wants to go for some proxy barracks on the other side of the map. The problem for him is that that first Overlord of Dark is already scouting for shenanigans. Not exactly sure if these two have played against each other over the last couple of days. There certainly is a chance that this has happened before, because normally Zerg will be sending that first Overlord straight through the center of the map to get to the other side as quickly as possible. But apparently that's not what Dark is doing, and this is an absolute disaster right here for Gumi. Drones are going to be pulled away, Kijkwijzer gets cancelled, we'll be going for a spawning pool quickly. If Dark can shut down these production structures, I mean, he's gonna be in a phenomenal spot. Third SCV, by the way, also ready to maybe build an additional barracks. Although it might just be very useful as well, just to finish the job that these SCVs may very well not be able to. Alright, well, at the very least, one barracks finishes. The problem is, right, Marines are really good when they are together, right? When they can shoot their guns at the same units all at the same time, but when the SCVs are, being harassed by the drones will be very quick to switch sides as well to, well, those Marines if they need it. And where in the world are you gonna pop out those those units? Yeah, nice surround of the barracks right there with drones. You can mess around a little bit with the rally points right here of these barracks to make it easier to get the units going. So there, for example, we have one of the Marines sneaking away, but this guy's gonna have a super hard time. Yeah, he's not gonna win that fight. He won't. The Marines are just not fast enough. All right, there you go. Look at that drone. Absolutely vicious. This guy will also end up getting sniped, and this is an absolute disaster of a start right here for the Gumi God. We're talking 3 SCVs, 3 drones, and then 3 Marines as well. The problem is, at this point, obviously, that spawning pool is done, so Zerglings, actual attacking units, will be coming out very soon. What do you do at this point as a Terran? Are you gonna fly the barracks back home? Not really a good option. You could, I guess, wall yourself in and cross your fingers and hope that the Zerg isn't gonna go for a counterattack, and that's exactly what GuMiho decides to do. He completes the wall off with a command center at home, but now Zerglings are coming up. Yeah, with the barracks flying around, he can't, well, produce out of them, obviously. At this point, he will see that a bunch of Zerglings are sneaking around the map. What exactly will the follow-up from Dark be at this point, though? Because Dark does not have any gas. He doesn't have a Roach Warren or anything along those lines. It's just gonna be slow Zerglings here for the time being. A Reaper has come up, which I do quite like. Reapers obviously do outpace slow Zerglings, at least Zerglings without metabolic boost, and yeah, it's gonna be quite handy. Links over here are available though, and them just working away at whatever here is super frustrating. There's the factory coming up inside of the main base for Gumi. He is just flying those barracks back home as quickly as possible, but those 2 Zerglings on the other side of the map are making it quite annoying here for Gumi. He needs to bring those Reapers back, or that one Reaper back. At least it looks like there was a bit of a supply block right here, so maybe some damage was done by Gumi. Either that or Dark decided to go for an extractor trick. I'm assuming he did end up killing one of those OVs. It's double factory on the back of this. GuMiho decides to just put all of his eggs in one basket. He's like, yo, this early game hasn't worked out for me at all. Because of my opponent's Overlord scouting pattern, I just couldn't get going. So I guess we'll turn this all-in into an all-in. Right? We're gonna, go for a little bit of all-inception, I suppose. Reactor coming up. Is it just going to be Blue Flame Hellions? Are we gonna be going into Mass Cyclone? What exactly is the plan? I guess we'll find out momentarily. Dark, in the meantime, has decided to take a 3rd base, and he's still, well, until at least right now, completely gasless. So 2 base mineral saturation is when Dark decides to take both of his gases here at the same time. Well, 2 of the 4 anyways. He could even go for all 4 and just put down a Roach Warren. Anyways, I guess Cyclones can be quite good. Hellions can be quite good, especially against slow Zerglings, yeah. The problem is that Overlord is already there and he sees the timing of at least one of the factories. That's not gonna really tell him the full story, because there's a good chance that Dark assumes that this is the first factory that goes down. Instead it's gonna be the second one. We have a reactor and a tech lab now building as well in those barracks that were originally constructed on the other side of the map. Third command center at this point about halfway done. If Dark is going to allow his opponent to get triple CC, there is a chance that GuMiho can come back in this game. Obviously, he put himself behind by about maybe, I want to say, a minute or so. Ultimately, that is something that Terrans can come back from if they play greedy enough. So, Lair coming up, it looks like Dark is not actually going to really address this early game at all. Nah, he's just going to go for Spore Crawlers. He's just droning up. Going for a Lair, going double Evolution Chamber. Maybe he's gonna go for like a double Roach upgrade with Roach Speed and just go for a big attack to the other side of the map. Usually you do that off of 66 workers. So we'll have to see exactly what the plan is. He hits a small little supply block, but that may actually be by design. Yep, +1 missile. I would assume it's gonna be +1 armor over here in that second Evolution Chamber and then Roach Speed as soon as the Lair is done. We should really start that upgrade up though. Dark, hello. We've got the resources for it. Yep, there it is. And then Roach Speed over here at the front. He's actually over-droning for 3 bases, so that's not even the case. Huh, okay. I'm surprised with the passivity right here from Dark, if I'm being honest with you. Normally Dark is like, okay, I smell blood in the water, I am gonna go finish this game. Don't get me wrong, he's still in a phenomenal spot, but look at the worker count at this point. We're talking 67 versus only 44 SCVs. One of the queens sacrifices herself, second one may also end up going down. The problem is, there's just no good answer against these roaches. Yeah, I mean, the queens are doing... When you're trading armies at this point, it's not good for the Terran, obviously, right? Because Dark has got way more income. Yeah, valiant effort right here from GuMiho, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's just Marines and Cyclones, by the way, which is a very cursed-looking unit composition. Dark did once again hit a bit of a supply block, so he's making this as easy for his opponent as it's ever going to be. Even losing this 4th base is meaningless. He could just give it up. Couple roaches, slow roaches that is, coming around the site. You can't blame Gumi though. Making the best of a bad situation. Putting all of his eggs in one basket. He's decided to continue making SCVs right now, so he's all the way at 54 on just 2 bases. Now the engineering base start up too, so... Yeah, he's thinking, if you're not gonna come and kill me, you had a couple opportunities to do so already. I may as well just continue playing this game and see if I can potentially crawl my way back into it. So 3rd CC is gonna go down towards the low ground. Right now, though, is when Dark is really holding down the Roach button. Yep, he's hitting all of his injects. He's going for well, I guess R. I'm assuming he uses default hotkeys. So he selects the larva and then he decides to just make as many roaches as possible. Link Speed coming up after Roach Speed. Roach Speed is still, well, maybe a half minute or so away from being finished. 1-1 upgrades are already done. Look at the supply count. This is where that economy here from Dark is really kicking in. He decides to go after the rocks to make the reinforcement path a little bit quicker. He needs to wait until the Glial reconstitution is done anyways. And that Roach Speed upgrade is finishing right now. How many tanks do we have? 0. We have 13 Cyclones and 17 Marines. I want to believe here, Gumi, but that's not really a unit composition for a reason. I guess it's a bunch of glass cannons. Okay, maybe if the Zerg decides to bile some more of his own units, it ends up working out. But ultimately, it's Dark who obtains the victory here in game number 1. Okay, interesting. So next up, we find ourselves on the map Equilibrium. And look at this, look at this Overlord scout pattern. What's going on? You could kind of see Dark selecting the minimap right there, and he was just rallying that Overlord wherever he needs to, I guess. Yeah, it's once again looking for proxy wrecks. I think Dark and GuMiho probably have a little bit of history as of late. Because once again, GuMiho decides to send out 2 SCVs at the start of the game. No way. There have to be a couple of series as of late where GuMiho has been cheesing Dark with a bunch of proxy wrecks. Because this is, again, not the normal Overlord scouting pattern. Now, I think if he would go for the normal scouting pattern, he would probably see these barracks. Because it looks like, once again, GuMiho is going to go for a little bit of cheese. Alright, Gumi. There's the 3rd SCV moving across too. This is a bit of a mind game right here from GuMiho though, because if you were to go up against the Zerg, who goes for, well, a scout in this direction or in the direction of the natural wall. I think it may very well see this. Well, Dark still sees it right now with his second OV, so he knows exactly what he's playing against. Drones are going to be pulled once again. Gas gets cancelled. Spawning pool is coming up. This gets scouted very early, although this is a complete wall-off. So, yeah, those drones are going to have to go around if they actually want to harass those workers from the back. This is awkward right now. I like this a whole lot better for Gumi, but I'm still not in love with it. This is one of those builds that is quote-unquote solved. It's one of those strategies, though, that will never really leave the StarCraft 2 metagame, because it's something that is very strong. But the top-level Zergs generally don't take game-ending damage from early-game shenanigans anymore, especially when they do scout it early. Now, once again, though, this is a gasless start right here for Dark, so it's just going to be Queens and slow links. Maybe a Spine Crawler if he's feeling, yeah, the absolute need for it, but this is a little bit tricky. That Overlord, by the way, decided to fly away. Quite clever. I would have parked it over here on top of this pillar, but at this point, yeah, with that barracks lifting up, it would have gone down. Drones, by the way, decided to grab some golden minerals on their way home. Cute little play right there from Dark, but now the bunker is coming up. Second bunker, okay, trying to put down, yeah, before that creep really starts expanding. Slow Zerglings, Spine Crawler building over here in the main base, and 2 Queens are coming up. Double Spine. Okay. No command center on the back of this here for Gumi. He's essentially going for a complete all-in. The problem here for the Terran is that I don't think that bunker is going to be in range of the barracks. Or of the barracks, sorry, in range of the hatchery. So, he's going to have to, yeah, expose his marines to the creep. Second Spine Crawler is going to finish up momentarily. Second Queen is going to be popping out soon as well. I don't love this build from Gumi. I mean, maybe it can work, but at the very least, it's a lot better than game number 1. I'll tell you that much. It's a game, it's a best of 5, by the way. I accidentally messed up the scoreboard there. It's set game, or a best of 3 right here. It's game number 2 in a best of 5 series. Okay, this is good, though. GuMiho trying to make the best of a bad scenario. There's only so much space inside of these bunkers. Now one of the Spine Crawlers is in range. Second Spine Crawler also pops up. We did not go for an inject, by the way, which is quite cute. So no injects right here on these hatcheries. Instead, we're saving up energy to try and keep the Spine Crawlers alive. Okay. He continues making SCVs, and I think we're ultimately gonna go for a command center right here on the low ground as well. Yeah, bunkers are gonna be salvaged, and I think this is about it. Do we love this? Nah. I mean, worker-wise, it's an advantage right now for the Terran. Obviously, this is not really a group of Marines that Dark can kill either. He's still continuing, by the way, with the barracks harassment here, which I kind of like. So, whenever you see as a Zerg player those bunkers salvage, you kind of think, okay, Terran's given up on this. They're not going to continue the harassment, right? But that's not actually the case here. Droning has begun, though. One of the Queens falls, okay. Yeah, Dark is starting to make workers. Obviously, that larva mechanic allows him to pop out a lot of them at the same time. He's basically saying, I guess with energy on my Queens and with a couple transfuses and with 2 spines, I should be okay against the Marines. This is still a scary number of them, though. I don't know if Dark is realizing that the number of Marines here is still growing, because he could easily get overwhelmed. Now, he has seen the command center on the other side of the map with his Overlord. Factory starts up right now at the front. Are we gonna go double factory again, Gumi? I think we might just. No, that's another command center. Okay. Ooh, Marines try to go around the side. I'm not in love with that move, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, now he can't run away. Queens and Spine Crawler still in range. Okay, he's just gonna try and get as much value out of these units as possible. But considering Dark was droning there for a long while already, I think he's happy to take this trade. Yep. Now the Marines are gonna be gone. He will be able to expand towards the third base. Well, he already snuck that out while that was going on inside of the main base. Okay, I think this is all right. Yeah, I think this is good actually for Dark. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this was a hell of a lot better for GuMiho compared to game number 1, and I'm still not in love with it. Couple Marines here will try and deny the gold base at the very least, so that's nice and all. At this point, he also sees what the intentions of the Zerg player are. He hasn't yet seen the actual third base, though, so Dark actually wanted to go for a double expand. Yeah, he still decides to do so. Not settling over at the golden minerals. Instead, we're gonna go and, well, take the somewhat safer base, I suppose. The golden minerals, by the way, together with the rich Vespian geyser, always something that you have to take into consideration. And one of the reasons why a lot of Terran players don't want to play against Zerg on this map. Zerg usually has a much easier time securing those golden minerals in that very rich base. As it's still a healthy chunk of Marines. Don't know if this one is going to be able to stay alive. Queens were pretty deep off creep. Yeah, he decides to cancel it. Loses the drones as well, but now he's definitely going to be taking the gold. I don't think. If he wants to make another expansion, I think he's definitely going to be going for the golden minerals. Okay, in the meantime, what's going on the side of the Terran? Well, the barracks are flying back home. Third command center is done at the front. Cyclone once again coming up. We're going to be going into double medevac production soon, and I guess we'll see a combat shield and stimpack upgrade here relatively soon. Maybe a couple, I don't know, reactors on the other barracks that are currently flying back home. We can go into 1-1 upgrades, stimpack, combat shields, and just a whole lot of marine medevac production. Yeah, I don't hate this here for Gumi. It's just that I also am not really in love with it. It just makes the game so weird, you know? Like, Terran very much so relies on that tempo lead, usually at least in this matchup. So if you see guys like, for example, Clem play this matchup, they're continuously aggressive and they will be able to slowly chip away at the Zerg. In this particular game, I don't think GuMiho can really do anything until he finishes up his upgrades for the Marines, and those are gonna be still a while away. So until Stimpack and Combat Shields are done, I don't think GuMiho can really do a whole lot, and that means that Dark can just do whatever he pleases. And what he's apparently enjoying right now is double upgrades. Lair's coming up. I'm assuming we're gonna see a Baneling Nest? Yeah, there it starts up. So Baneling Speed here would be a really nice upgrade. Golden Minerals indeed will be coming up. Essentially what I'm saying is that, yeah, this is not a bad situation currently for Gumi, but Zerg is left to their own devices for at least like a minute and a half or so, which means he's probably gonna drone up until like 85. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna go straight into at least 80 plus workers. Maybe that's a little greedy. Yeah, maybe that's what I would do. Much like that Overlord pillar, it's a little bit too much. Maybe he's gonna settle on slightly less than that, but this is a pretty easy macro game right now for Dark. As long as he holds the first big attack from the Terran, as soon as those Terran upgrades are done, I think he's gonna be okay. Straight into an infestation pit, by the way. That's an interesting one. So I guess he's gonna tech straight into a hive? Yeah, that's an infestation pit before Bane speed, so Dark feeling very confident that he can get away with it. So Dark, by the way, not really punishing his opponent, right? For playing these early game, yeah, cheeses. Much like in game number 1, he decides to just go for a nice little macro game on the back of this. +2/+2 though is really nice and early here for Gumi, all things considered. There's additional barracks finishing up. So this is 8 barracks on 3 bases, which usually is a big indicator that he does not plan on making a 4th CC. Unless he absolutely needs to, he'll probably rather fly that main command center on over here. So this is just gonna be mass production right here from our... Oh, maybe that's the reason. It's just for a couple infestors. I think it's just gonna be mass production right here from Terran. So I think he's just gonna go for infestors right here to try and get the fungal growth. Fungal growth into roly-poly Banes. Burrow coming up as well. Hive does start. No priority though for the +2/+2 upgrades here for Dark, which is an interesting one. But yeah, here we are. Like, we're at 80 workers. Now Terran can finally go for a bit of an attack. Keep in mind that with the new patch, infestors now spawn with enough energy for a fungal growth. So they're gonna be able to fungal right here from the start. Baneling speed is done. And as the Terran army is coming across the map, Dark starts up 2-2, which is a massive sign of confidence. He's like, yeah, no, I don't really need all of those resources. I'll be fine. GuMiho, he decides to go for a triple medevac drop into the main base, but he needs to start rolling here. He needs to start getting that tempo advantage. I don't think he can really sit back and just let the Zerg do whatever he pleases. Has he seen the infestors? Probably not. Queens over here do push this away. One of the spines, by the way, from the early game. 9 confirmed kills has been set up over here on the perimeter, and yeah, with a Spore Crawler and this many Queens, you're really not going to be able to come in. Ultra Cavern. So all things considered, this game turns out to be an Ultra Cavern rush. Interesting. Looks like we did have a bit of a fungal growth right here on those medevacs, but fungal doesn't really do a lot of damage anymore these days. Mostly just to keep those units in place. GuMiho has decided to essentially go for a 3 base, 8 barracks, 2-2 all in. So he's maxed out right now. Supply-wise, he's totally fine. But can he win the game with this particular army? There's a cheeky little infestor, currently not with enough energy to go for a fungal. But he's hiding over here, pretending to be a Terran unit. Dark, by the way, has burrowed Zerglings in every location where Terran might be expanding to next. So he's fully aware of the fact that GuMiho is hard committed here. Starts up chitinous plating as well. So Dark is feeling very confident. But this is a scary attack, though. GuMiho can most definitely win this game with this particular fight that's coming up. Keep in mind here that infestors can only use fungal growth when they are unburrowed. Okay, he decides to commit. I'm not in love with it. Nah. How many infestors do we still have? Okay, apparently the other one did end up getting sniped, so it's just the one infestor. The creep spread is just a little too good, right? Isn't it? I'm a little afraid that we're gonna see one big-ass fungal growth, at which point the game is over! Okay, well, a little anticlimactic. I think GuMiho got a bit lucky there, though, because he doesn't have the energy here to scan. Doing a good job. Now the queens finally decide to come to the front here as well, because there's no medevac drop threatening the main base any longer. Ultralisk on the production tab. Okay. There's one of them already. We have so much transfusion available that queens should be able to, yeah, keep that one hero Ultralisk alive! Look at him chomping away. He doesn't even have chitinous plating yet. Oh, the hero Ultra eventually does die. But I don't think it really matters. That's already way too many losses on the side of the Terran. The hero Ultra may be dead, but he will not be forgotten. Alrighty. That takes us to the map Alcyone. Yeah, I'm not in love with that build. I like the triple Rex opener when you mix it in every once in a while, but when you do it 2 games in a row... No! We're doing it 3 games in a row? Stop! Gumi! When you do it 3 games in a row, it just seems like a very mediocre strategy at best. Don't get me wrong. Every ladder hero out there below like 6k MMR, we lose against, well, triple proxy Rex all the time. But at the absolute highest level, it just doesn't really seem that great of a build. Once again, look at Dark's Overlord patterns. Look at him! He's gonna scout it again. I can imagine that GuMiho and Dark have played a bunch over the last couple of weeks and that, well, GuMiho has done this exact build against Dark one too many times. And now Dark is just not sending his Overlords in the default path anymore. So his OVs are going all around the map, scouting all of the different locations, and once more, he will see that in 3 out of 3 games so far, GuMiho is going for some proxy Rex. Are we gonna send the workers? Oh, we're even mixing it up a little bit. Nah, we aren't. Okay, I thought we were gonna keep that gas around. He's sending out a couple drones, cancels the gas, goes into the spawning pool. And we're gonna do the dance. This time around, there's no wall off here. But I guess the first Rex is already done. Just to harass this, right? Just to try and slow it down. Killing any SCV here is really nice because it slows down any bunkers. Okay. You cannot control as a Terran player where those SCVs are while they are constructing a barracks. Or any structure for that matter. 2 SCVs go down. Third one actually is forced to run all the... Oh, okay, it stopped running. That's 3 workers. 3 workers for 0 drones so far. Additional workers show up. This is horrible. That's game, no? Like, I'm not sure what you're gonna do here, but like, this is an absolute disaster right here for GuMiho. Yeah, Dark showing us why this is not a very popular build at the pro level anymore. Zerg players have gotten too comfortable countering this sort of thing. Yeah, it was a good build back in the day, right? So when Terrans first figured out, hey, wait a second, I can build barracks on the other side of the map. My main base. I mean, the entire map is my main base. I don't just need to be concerned about this section of the map and I can just build them wherever I like. Zerg players took a long time figuring out exactly what the best approach is against this particular opener from Terran, but you can see that Dark has certainly figured it out. The main problem for Zergs is when they don't find it, right? If they don't scout it in time, then it's a disaster. But if you do see the barracks coming up, you can get there with the drones in time. It's a very playable game. 2 command centers on the back of this. Zerglings. Oh. Yeah, they're running in. They're gonna be able to work on those SCVs that are building those command centers. And I guess, yeah, GuMiho looks at that and he realizes this is not gonna happen. So there we go. GuMiho, the most creative Terran player in the world, decides to go for the least creative strategy 3 games in a row, and he gets absolutely shut down.